We live in a time right now where we have almost unlimited access to find clothing at any budget. Everything is online. You can even send your measurements into a website and like a week later, have something on your doorstep that was made specifically for you. And you've got YouTube videos for clothing reviews from people of all ages. So why does it seem that everybody has gotten so sloppy? When did society get so lazy that people are basically wearing their pajamas in public? What the hell happened? Let's try to find out. Now, of course, I understand the desire to feel comfortable in what you're wearing, but in my opinion, it's gotten to the point that it's becoming a huge negative. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments on both sides. Do you agree with how sloppy everything is getting right now? Or are you on the side that thinks it's okay and that you like the way things are going? I'm curious. Here's something else. I do understand the fashion industry, and I understand that most all of the marketing efforts are targeting younger demographics around 18 to 35. But when I see guys my age, 40s and beyond, out in public wearing pajamas, I just have to wonder, like, what happened, because that doesn't seem normal. Now, this is where I need to drop in a quick disclaimer, because the point of this video isn't to shame anyone for having a different or unique sense of style that's different than mine, because when you boil it all down, I really don't care. I really don't. But I think what's happening is that we've gotten so lazy that a lot of people now have an excuse to be lazy and look lazy because it's fashionable. And that brings up a whole lot of other issues like depression and poor mental health. When you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, that messes with your head. But when you look in the mirror and you like what you see, that has positive effects on the rest of your life, including your work life and your social life. All right, let's go back to the 60s when things really started to shift. There was this massive youth movement and rebellion against standard ideas in fashion, music, politics, and lifestyle. These people wanted to do the exact opposite of what was considered normal and acceptable in society. And by the 70s, with hippie culture kicking in, casual culture started having major impacts. Then we have the late 80s and early 90s when the whole grunge scene exploded. And because I grew up in Seattle and got out of high school a few years before Nirvana took off, I was right in the middle of all of that. Thrift store fashion and wearing things that didn't coordinate at all just became massively popular. Then we had the crazy tech boom of the late 90s and early 2000s where workplace dress codes went completely out the window. There were so many young people fresh out of school with tech degrees, and all of these companies that were exploding were all competing for the same group of talented kids. So at 22 years old, if you were given the option of different companies that wanted to hire you, you weren't going to pick the one that made you come to work every day wearing a shirt and tie. You wanted to work with the trendy up-and-coming company that sort of went against the grain and let you go to work in a t-shirt and shorts. Then we had the lockdown happen in 2020 and everybody was trapped at home. So why bother even taking a shower and getting out of your pajamas if nobody was going to see you anyway? And that kind of brings us to where we are today. And I'm not sure where the mentality came from that people think the only things that are comfortable are t-shirts, hoodies, sweatpants, and athleisure, because that's not the case. But then we have pop culture, social media, and celebrities. You guys see all these celebrities walking around wearing all the latest fashion trends, and right now it's oversized, boxy, and sloppy clothing. But pay attention to what I just said, fashion trends. If you're in your 40s or even beyond, like me, you can still pay attention to what's trending without wearing the super trendy thing, because the actual trendy thing is going to be completely outdated in like 6 months. For example, oversized knits like knit polo shirts, sweaters, and oversized jackets are currently trending like crazy. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to go into H&M or Zara and buy that trend. You can go into Nordstrom, Banana Republic, and even Express and find a sophisticated knit polo shirt that looks age appropriate and stylish without wearing the same exact trendy thing that your 17-year-old son is wearing. And I know there's going to be a lot of comments on this video saying that I can wear whatever I want and I just dress for myself and I just want to be comfortable. And cool, that's totally fine. And I've got lots of videos on my channel, but one in particular that's based around providing information about men's clothing that women just don't like. And I made that video basically to be helpful to some guys that just might need a little extra help attracting a lady friend. And the comment section of that video is literally bursting at the seams with all these guys that say, like, who cares what women think, and it shouldn't matter what I wear. People should like me for me, not because of the clothes I wear. And real men dress for themselves, not for anyone else. And for the record, I totally get it. But here's the thing. If they really didn't care about that topic or give a rat's ass what women like or don't like, and if they're being so hardcore about it, why even watch the video? The reason is they do care. They absolutely care. Otherwise, they wouldn't have bothered to waste their time watching that video. But that old argument of only dressing for yourself and only wearing things that are comfortable and functional doesn't make a lot of sense either, because here's the deal. First, there's lots of things that are comfortable and functional. Second, if you're out at a grocery store or a restaurant and you see a guy walk in wearing pajamas or old outdated cargo shorts and sandals, you don't think to yourself like, wow, that guy is really dressing for himself. I bet he really likes to be comfortable and functional. What a great guy. You don't think that. Nobody thinks that. You look at the guy and go, holy cow, this guy looks like he's completely given up on life. Maybe he's homeless. Maybe I should buy his lunch. We live in an incredible time right now where clothing manufacturers are doing amazing things with fabric technology, like mixing spandex in with denim means that your jeans stretch and move with you just like a pair of sweatpants do. Same thing with chinos, shirts, and jackets. Today's fabrics are more breathable than ever before and more comfortable than ever before. So the argument that people wear sweatpants because that's all they think is comfortable is totally irrelevant at this point. But I also hear from these guys that have this fear of being judged if they start dressing better. So as a result, they don't even try or participate at all. Or what's worse is they default back to what they wore when they peaked in college like 25 years ago and they never move on. But the thing is, the judgment is worse because the message those guys are conveying is that they're stuck and they haven't moved on. They haven't grown up and they haven't achieved anything since college. And that's the message they're sending, whether they know it or not. Another argument is using people like Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos, for example. I mean, you might say, if Zuckerberg can wear a t-shirt every day, then I can too. Okay. Are you Mark Zuckerberg? Does everybody on the planet know who you are? And do you have like $1 bajillion in the bank? If so, that's fantastic. But for the rest of us, it just doesn't work that way. And just for the record, I'm not just talking about men. Women aren't off the hook here either. They're just as sloppy, if not even more so, than men. And another thing, where did modesty go? Because I feel like the last couple years, women's clothing has gotten shorter, tighter, and just way more revealing. Now, on the one hand, I'm a guy, right? And I can appreciate the female form. But when did wearing booty shorts so short that your ass is falling out the bottom become cool? Because in a lot of ways, it looks like absolute trash. And what's the point in that? But again, let me make this clear for everyone. I'm not sitting here like some pompous asshole thinking that I'm better than everyone else, because that's just not the case. But you're free to think whatever you want. But the simple fact is that dressing sloppy as part of your regular, everyday routine, in my opinion, is doing a number on your self-esteem, whether you want to believe that or not. Let's face it, we're all strangers. We see what you make us see and what you tell us to see. And I'm just using the term you as a generalization. The only information we have about you, at least initially, is your physical appearance. And you have total control over all that information. In 5 seconds after seeing someone, we all form opinions in our own minds, and those opinions are based on what we see. And what we see is completely under your control. And if you want to be seen as sloppy, great. But if so, you don't get to complain when you're not getting what you want in life, or that nobody ever talks to you, or that you can't get a date. Also, understand that dressing well and at least paying attention to what you wear isn't shallow or superficial at all. It has nothing to do with dressing for anyone else or for the approval of anyone else. It's about putting your best foot forward in an effort to ultimately get what you want out of life. Because let's face it, as men, we want very few things. We want money, respect, and sex. And dressing well moves that needle forward. Dressing poorly doesn't. And it's as simple as that. And just one more thing before you guys take off. If you have anything to add, please, I welcome your comments down below in the comment section. And with that, my friends, as always, thank you very much for watching. Live well, and I'll see you in the next one.